I was at the house, I had my apps on. I got a $44 Instacart shop. And so I was like, yes, please, I'll take that one. It was fine. I got it done in an hour, a little less than an hour, actually. But what I didn't like about it was a Target and then going to a Fry's grocery store. But the Target was, I believe, like 7 items and the Fry's was 8 items. It wasn't a big deal. The Fry's was actually on the way to the delivery of the Target anyway. But here's the cool part about it. So I went in, I did the Target shop. As I was in Target, my son called me and said, hey, Dad, could I go drive with you tonight? He's 18. He's got his learner's permit, getting ready to get his license. And so he's been doing DoorDash with me for a couple of months, and DoorDash, Instacart, basically all the things. He'll come out and drive with me once in a while, and he'll practice driving, and then we split whatever we make. We split. It's a fun time, and he's learning a valuable skill, and we got an Acorns account set up for him, so he takes 60% of everything he makes. 30% goes into his Roth IRA, 30% goes into his investment account, and then he keeps 40%. So he called me after I was already out. So I said, yeah, let me finish this order. I'll come back and grab you. Between you and me, it does slow down a little bit because he's learning how to drive. I'm doing my best in the passenger seat to be like, we're on a timer here, let's go. But I don't want to rush him either because he's learning. So I'm trying to just woosah and just relax. But I can't keep the pace that I would normally keep, but that's okay. We're having a good time, and he's learning how to drive, and he's making money. So that's good. I encourage you, if you've got kids, especially older teenagers, they got to be at least 18. They can't do Uber or Lyft until they're 21, but if they're 18, they can do Instacart, Walmart Spark, DoorDash, Uber Eats. You just can't sign up for regular, like, driving people. So anyway, I did the Target shop. I was on the way to the Fry's, and I saw a Walmart pickup just pop up, and it was paying $19, and nobody was taking it because it was an 8-mile delivery and 8 miles back, so it wasn't that great. But where it was going, this is where the strategy starts to come in. This is where that multi-apping comes in. This is where you separate the wheat from the chaff, as they say. So I'm already doing this $44 shop, and I see, for Instacart, I see this Walmart that nobody wants. By itself, it sucks. It's not very good because you get 8 miles up, 8 miles back. $19 for 16 miles. Not great. But the delivery for the Walmart was only 3 miles away from my delivery for the Sprout. So I was making most of those miles regardless. And the Walmart was on the way to the Fry's grocery store. So I literally just stopped at Walmart on the way. They had me loaded in 5 minutes and then kept going. So I had the Target items in the car, stopped at Walmart, grabbed those items. That was in the shop. Again, curbside. Just they brought it out, put it in. It was like 6 or 7 items, easy. Went to Fry's, did that shop, 7 or 8 items is out of there pretty quick. Went and dropped off the Fry's delivery, then went and dropped the Target delivery, and then when I was done with that, I was only 3 miles from the Walmart delivery, so I went and did that. So really that 19 was only 3 miles further than I was going anyway, and 3 miles back. So you want to look at that was 19 for 6 miles rather than 19 for 16 miles. So it made a much better deal, and I ended up with $65 I finished all 3 of those in an hour and 10 minutes, $65. Not bad. And then I shot back to the house, which is over by the Walmart, to pick up my son, who was anxiously awaiting because he's starting to get the, hey, I want to make some money, Dad, which is great. It's awesome. So we went and picked him up after I made the $65 on my first run. This was about 7:45, and we left again. We went out and we did, it wasn't bad. We did $65 with us two. We were out not quite 2 hours. So it wasn't quite $40 an hour. It was close, but it was pretty slow for a Friday. We did 3 Walmart deliveries and an Uber Eats delivery on one of them. It was 2 Walmart shops and a Walmart pickup. But all in, I was gone 3 hours. And we made $130 together in 3 hours. So it was like $42, $43 an hour. Not bad. It killed me though, because when we were out, I leave my Lyft Black on. It's Friday night. There's some bars out here. Randomly, sometimes I'll get a nice ride. I had a $55 Lyft Black ride that was going 7 miles out to the pickup away from my house and bringing them back 13 miles and dropping them within a couple of miles of my house. It was like the perfect ride, because normally you get a ride where I'm at and it just takes you all the way away and then you're empty miles coming back. But this one was 20 miles, but it was like 7 out, 13 back, and end up right by my house, right in my zone. It would have been perfect for $55. I would have had that done in 30 minutes, but I couldn't do it because my son was with me. You can do groceries with the rider, but you can't go pick up somebody on a black rate. So I couldn't do it, but could have made it like 185 in 3.5 hours. But again, my son's getting some skills. He's learning how to drive. He's learning how these apps work, learning how to multi-app, and it's giving him something he can do. He's just starting college. This stuff is perfect for a kid just out of high school. Once he gets his license and he can do it on his own, I have no doubt he'll be able to make $1,500 to $2,000 a month. Very, very part-time. I mean, I do that extremely part-time. He's not going to be as fast as me. He's not going to make as much as I do per hour. I am an enigma. But for a college kid, I mean, just need an extra $2,000 a month. You could do that, do $2,000 without even breaking a sweat in 2 weeks if I didn't have anything else going on. So if you got kids or you yourself are in college, get on the gig apps. It's flexible and you can make some money if you do it right, but you have to do it right. Do it the way I do it has worked out really good for me over the last couple years. That's focus on profitable orders, be extremely part-time, and make sure you pay attention to your per mile expenses, because you will make better decisions if you're thinking about the per mile expenses. At least 50 cents a mile. IRS gives you 70, but I would factor in at least 50 cents. So if you're looking at a ride and you're going, oh, it's 15 miles away, I'm not sure, it's paying $20, oh, it's better than $1 a mile. Don't forget to factor in that $7.50 cost. Even though you're not paying that money right away, you're paying some for gas, but you're not paying future maintenance yet. You're not paying future repairs. You're not thinking about depreciation. These are all real costs that you might not be paying today, but every mile you drive today, you're going to be paying more tomorrow. It's not just the gas. Don't think your profit is revenue minus gas. A lot of drivers take really bad rides because in their mind, they're thinking revenue minus gas. Oh, I made X. You didn't make X. And here's a great way to think about it when you're looking at a ride. Pretend it's not your car, okay? You don't pay for anything on the car, but then take whatever the offer is and subtract 50 cents a mile from what they're offering you. Just subtract it as if you don't see it, because say it wasn't your car. Let's say someone says, I'm going to let you rent my car and I'm going to charge you 50 cents for every mile you drive on that car. So when you bring it back at the end of the week, I'm going to add up the miles from when you took it out, when you brought it back, and I'm going to charge you 50 cents a mile. So if you drive 700 miles because you're killing Lyft and killing Uber and killing your car trying to do all that stuff, and you drive 700 miles in a week, well, when you get all your gig apps making your deposits on Monday and Tuesday, whenever they do, if you got 700 miles on that car and use an app to track it. I use Gridwise. There's lots of apps out there you can use. It'll tell you exactly how many miles you drove that week or that month or whatever you want to look at. You best be taking $350. If you did 700 miles, take $350 out of your checking account. Transfer it into a savings account, preferably one that's separate that you keep just for car maintenance. You use that money to pay for gas, to pay for your car note, to pay for repairs, to pay for oil changes, pay for new tires. These are all expenses that cost per mile, because every mile you go is more likely to lead to a breakdown. It's every mile you go gets you closer to an oil change. Every mile you go is a little less rubber on those tires that make you have to pay for them. So you have to factor in those costs. So if you just think about, this is not even my car, but 50 cents a mile, it has to cover John's car because he loaned it to me. There's a lot of rides that you probably take that you would stop taking. The problem is those rides that you think you're making money on, you're not making money. You just don't realize it yet until that car breaks down. Because if you rely on that car to make money and one day a transmission goes out and you haven't been setting aside money, what are you going to do? You can't go, oh, I got to drive extra this week to make enough money to fix the transmission. You're stuck. You're done. You're out. So make sure you're setting aside that money. If you're sitting here going, there's no way I can afford to set aside $350, because a lot of you probably, if you're trying to do this full time, you're probably driving 700, 800, 900, maybe 1,000 miles a week. Just drive till the wheels fall off because you got to make your $1,000 a week or whatever it is. If you're driving 1,000 miles a week, you better be setting aside at least 50 cents a mile. And if you're going, there's no way I can afford to set aside $2,000 a month, that's telling you you're not actually making any profit. You're wasting your time out there. You're getting some cash now, but eventually the chickens are going to come home to roost. That car is going to break down, right? Now, not everybody has a 50 cent a mile cost. It depends on the car, right? Some of you guys might have a smaller cost, but you still have to factor that in. I mean, if you're driving an old car that's paid off, that the depreciation is already factored in, then you might have a little bit less cost than somebody that's driving a newer car that's still covering a car note and has a lot more depreciation per mile on the newer car. But keep in mind, because you have that older car, it's got a lot more miles on, it's already been fully depreciated, you're probably going to have, and there's no guarantee, but you'll probably have higher and more frequent repair bills than somebody that's driving a newer car. So it could balance out. So you have to figure that out. But if you're driving that car and you're not factoring in anything but gas, could be tomorrow, could be a month from now, could be 3 years from now. But at some point, that car is going to need something that you're not going to be able to afford to do. And you're done. Then you're scrambling, trying to find a job because you don't have a vehicle to make any money. So don't let that happen to you. Don't wait until you have that unaffordable repair before you go, oh, I should have set aside money. And if you're saying you don't make enough money to afford to set aside 50 cents a mile, you're taking rides you shouldn't be taking. You're putting miles on your car that you're paying for. You're not making money. You're just making enough to fix your car, but you're robbing your car of that money. You're stealing it from your car. So when your car needs it, it's not there. Anyway, that's all I got for Friday night. Decent night, 42, 43 bucks an hour. Again, part-time though. I wasn't out all day Friday. I didn't go out till 6 something. I'm doing more important things. I'm doing more profitable things during the day. Gig work is part-time. Gig work is just extra to pay off the debt, extra. I actually enjoy doing it. I'm in my office all day. I like getting in the Tesla, driving around. I used to really like driving Lyft. I like meeting people and all that stuff, but Lyft screwed it all up by cutting the rates so low that it's like, I don't care if I like meeting new people. I'm not going to pay money out of my pocket to meet them. I can still make a little bit of profit on black, but I can't make profit on preferred, what do they call it, preferred or some stupid BS. I definitely can't make it on regular Lyft and preferred or extra comfort. Is it extra comfort now? I don't know. I never drove for it because when they got rid of Lux and they made it extra comfort, all they did was change the name and drop the driver's pay. That's it. So I don't do extra comfort rides. You shouldn't do them either. It's not profitable. If you're doing Lyft and Uber, I already know you're not setting aside enough money to take care of your car when it breaks down. I know you're not because they don't give you profitable enough rides to justify it. They're banking on people not understanding how the economics of this business works and not thinking about future costs, right? And then when you figure that out and you quit because your car broke down, there's unfortunately 5 people behind you ready to jump in and try out being a Lyft driver. And they won't figure out that they need to be setting aside money until their car breaks down. The cycle continues. Anyway, it's kind of a Debbie Downer message for a Friday, but guys, magic of part-time. Do this part-time. Focus on only profitable rides that pay well and have something else going so you're not dependent and you're not a slave to these apps and taking stupid $6, $7, $8 deliveries and barely grossing $20 and then having to subtract $10 and making $10 an hour. That doesn't make sense. You might as well flip burgers if all you're going to do is profit $10 an hour. Okay, that's all I got for tonight. Peace.